Please like and subscribe. Let's talk about tomatoes. The antioxidants in tomatoes offer protection against a range of deadly diseases, with cancer, diabetes, and heart disease being a few of them. Scientifically called Solanum lycopersicum, the tomato originated in the Central and South Americas. It comes in numerous varieties that are grown in temperate climates in various parts of the world. Tomatoes are exceptionally beneficial for people who want to lose weight and maintain their blood pressure levels. They also help enhance vision and aid in diabetes management. More importantly, they can be beneficial to pregnant women. At some point in history, the Europeans considered tomatoes to be poisonous, given their shiny appearance. The Aztecs were the first set of people who used tomatoes for cooking. With the passing of the centuries, the cultivation spread to Asia, and as of today, China and India are the top producers of tomato in the world. The tomato is referred to as the functional food, meaning it goes way beyond just providing basic nutrition. One major reason is the presence of lycopene, the all-powerful antioxidant that enhances health in numerous ways. There are numerous varieties, the most popular of them being plum tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, and tomberries. The leaves of the tomato plant are 4 to 10 inches long, and both the stem and the leaf are hairy. Tomatoes are cultivated in numerous colors, while the most common variant is the red one. Other colors include yellow, green, orange, black, brown, pink, white, brown, and purple. Table of contents. Health benefits of tomatoes. Nutritional profile *. Why are organic tomatoes better? Selection and storage. How to incorporate tomatoes into your diet? Tomato recipes. Tomato side effects. Health benefits of tomatoes. 1. Tomatoes help prevent cancer. According to the American Institute for Cancer Research, lycopene in tomatoes could be responsible for the fruit's anti-cancer properties. 1. Lycopene is an antioxidant in the carotenoid family. Its potent antioxidant properties have been found to neutralize free radicals that are generated in our bodies due to various reasons. Even laboratory studies show that tomato components have prevented the proliferation of several cancer cell types. More importantly, one can enhance the cancer-fighting potential of tomatoes by taking them in a processed form, like the sauce, juice, or paste of tomatoes. Doing so allows the natural compounds in tomatoes to be more easily absorbed by the body. Also, processed forms of tomatoes have higher concentrations of lycopene, too. However, it is important to consume a variety of foods, and not just tomatoes, to combat cancer, or any disease for that matter. A study has also revealed the efficacy of tomatoes in preventing prostate cancer. 1. But then, we don't know if lycopene supplements have the same effect. 3. And not just tomatoes in the processed form, but even those that are cooked can have better health effects. Given their high antioxidant levels, tomatoes are a great choice for combating breast cancer. 4. Adults with cancer participating in studies showed signs of cancer regression post-lycopene supplementation. Higher lycopene intake has also been linked to a lower risk of lung, colon, oral, and cervical cancers. Cancer cells can remain dormant for years until some chemical reaction triggers them and they attach themselves to the body's blood supply. Lycopene was found to disrupt this linking process, thereby preventing the cancer cells from growing further. 5. Another reason tomatoes help fight cancer is adiponectin, a potent compound in the fruit too. Tomatoes regulate blood pressure. The lycopene in tomatoes has also shown to reduce blood pressure. 6. Tomatoes are also rich in potassium, a mineral known to lower blood pressure levels. 7. This is because potassium reduces the effects of sodium. In fact, the more potassium you consume, the more sodium you lose through urine. Apart from this, potassium eases the tension in the walls of your blood vessels, further reducing blood pressure. According to the American Heart Association, the recommended intake of potassium for an average adult is 4,700 mg per day. But be careful not to consume too much of potassium as it might lead to kidney stones. As per an Israeli study, short-term treatment with tomato extract can help lower blood pressure in patients. 8. Lycopene is also known to improve the functioning of blood vessels in general, which can help reduce blood pressure. 9. Further research shows that though lycopene can help lower high blood pressure levels, it has no effect on normal blood pressure levels. Studies have concluded that lycopene supplements can have beneficial effects towards blood pressure. Tomatoes are also rich in vitamin C that has been found to reduce blood pressure. 10. If they are not entirely ripened, you can store your tomatoes at room temperature. Once ripe, you can keep them in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. Beyond that, you can preserve them by freezing or canning. 11. But the best option would be fresh tomatoes, as they are the richest in potassium and can have the best blood pressure lowering effects. 12. 3. Tomatoes aid weight loss. As per a Chinese study, tomato juice can significantly reduce body weight, body fat, and waist circumference. 13. It also can lower cholesterol levels that can contribute to weight gain. Apart from being a great source of antioxidants, tomatoes are also rich in fiber and are low in calories. Hence, they promote satiety and even reduce calorie intake, thereby helping with weight loss. 4. Tomatoes improve skin and hair health. Tomatoes are an important ingredient in most beauty treatments. They help cure large pores, treat acne, soothe sunburn, and revive dull skin. The antioxidants in tomato, especially lycopene, fight cellular damage and skin inflammation. Tomatoes also work wonderfully well as an astringent and improve facial texture. They remove excess oils from your skin and keep your face fresh for longer. All you need to do is mix the juices of fresh tomatoes and cucumber. Using a cotton ball, apply the juice to your face regularly. Studies have shown that eating tomatoes also protect the skin from the ill effects of sun exposure. 14. Other studies have found an improvement in the skin's ability to protect itself from the UV radiation in women who ate tomato paste. According to one Boston study, antioxidants like lycopene help enhance skin health to a great extent. 15. As per one report, lycopene is one of the few antioxidants with incredible photoprotective properties. 16. The vitamin C in tomatoes can also improve hair health. 5. Tomatoes are good during pregnancy. Vitamin C is one of the nutrients any woman needs during pregnancy to keep herself and her baby healthy. It aids the formation of healthy bones, teeth, and gums. This vitamin also assists in the proper absorption of iron in the body, another vital nutrient during pregnancy. Though taking iron supplements during pregnancy is advisable, eating tomatoes can have its benefits. The lycopene in tomatoes offers protection against cell damage. Though the safety of lycopene supplements for pregnant women is still under question, the antioxidant from natural sources is very much safe for the women in need. Including tomatoes in your diet can improve the bioavailability of iron. 17. And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the vitamin C in tomatoes helps protect both the woman and the baby. 18. 6. Tomatoes reduce cholesterol and promote heart health. It's lycopene, again. Including lycopene-rich tomatoes regularly in your diet for a few weeks can cut down your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, levels by as much as 10%. To be more precise, you need to take at least 25 milligrams of lycopene a day. This could be about half a cup of tomato sauce. Also, 100 grams of tomato puree will give 21.8 milligrams of lycopene. As per studies, individuals who consume fresh tomatoes or tomato juice can lower their bad cholesterol levels and increase the levels of good cholesterol. 19. According to another Mexican study, consumption of raw tomatoes, 14 servings a week for a month, can have a beneficial effect on cholesterol levels in overweight women. 20. One article by the Harvard Medical School includes tomatoes as one of the must-have foods for lowering cholesterol. 21. And as per another study, the intake of lycopene every day can have similar effects as statins, any group of drugs for reducing cholesterol, in patients with elevated cholesterol levels. 22. Tomatoes are also rich sources of beta-carotene, folate, and flavonoids, all of which are beneficial for cardiovascular health. The nutrients in tomatoes also help reduce homocysteine and platelet aggregation, two phenomena that can have undesirable effects on heart health. 23. In another study by the University of Connecticut, tomato juice was found to possess cardioprotective abilities, which weren't related to lycopene in any way. The revelation was made for the first time. Though the results are conflicting with what we have seen about lycopene so far, tomatoes still are one of those foods important for heart health. 24. Another study published in a report by Tufts University had found that men with high blood lycopene levels were found to be 55% less likely to suffer from a stroke. The findings remained consistent even after considering other factors like age, BMI, LDL cholesterol, blood pressure, and smoking. 25. Lycopene is fat-soluble, which is why it is recommended to consume it with a little fat, as that is when it will be better absorbed by the body. Also, vine-ripened tomatoes are richer in lycopene than tomatoes ripened off the vine. So, pick your tomatoes wisely. 7. Tomatoes counter the effects of cigarette smoke. Smoking leads to the excessive production of free radicals in the body, which can be very well countered with vitamin C, which is why tomatoes can work great for smokers. Lower levels of vitamin C in this aspect can result in heart disease and cancer. According to the National Institutes of Health, if non-smoking men and women regularly need 90 mg and 75 mg of vitamin C respectively, smokers need 35 mg more. Around 100 grams of raw tomatoes contain about 13.7 mg of vitamin C, 26. If you are a pregnant woman who smokes, which shouldn't be the case in the first place, you have a higher need for vitamin C, 27. Talk to your doctor for more information. A report published by Cornell University found that the lycopene in tomatoes can scavenge up to 90% of the free radicals in the body, 28. 8. Tomatoes improve vision. Tomatoes are rich in vitamin A, which is one reason they are excellent for your eyes. The retinas of your eyes rely on vitamin A, and low levels of the vitamin can, with time, cause blindness. Lycopene in tomatoes counters free radical damage, which can otherwise affect your eyes. A study conducted in 2011 discovered that people with higher lycopene levels had a lower risk of age-related macular degeneration. Lycopene also protects the eyes from sun damage. Other eye-beneficial nutrients in tomatoes are vitamin C and copper. While the former might fight age-related cataracts, the latter helps produce melanin, the important black pigment in the eyes. Lutein in tomatoes is to be talked about as well. It is a phytochemical, which is a carotenoid that is helpful for vision health, 29. The beta-carotene in tomatoes, upon consumption, is converted into retinol, and this compound is essential for optimal vision, 29. A quick tip, if you are choosing tomatoes in the cooler months, go for the canned variety. This includes diced tomatoes, tomato juice, tomato paste, or whole peeled tomatoes. Canned tomatoes are richer in nutrients, and since it's winter, might cost less as well. While shopping for canned tomatoes, go for the low-sodium variant. 9. Tomatoes enhance digestive health. Tomatoes are good sources of chloride, which is an essential component of digestive juices, 30. One report also talks about the efficacy of lycopene in tomatoes in preventing gastric cancer, 31. The fiber in tomatoes helps here too. 100 grams of tomatoes give you 2 grams of fiber, both soluble and insoluble fiber, further promoting gut health. Eating antioxidant-rich foods like tomatoes can also help you deal with gastritis, a condition in which the stomach lining is inflamed, 32. 10. Tomatoes help manage diabetes. According to the American Diabetes Association, tomatoes are an important part of the diabetic diet. This is because they are rich in iron and vitamins C and E, all of which help relieve diabetic symptoms, 33. Tomatoes also have a low glycemic index, the ability of a particular food to increase blood sugar levels, which can be a bonus for diabetics. As per an Indian study, long-term supplementation of tomatoes was linked to beneficial effects in patients with diabetes mellitus. Though further research is warranted in this regard, the finding is promising, 34. An Iranian study concluded that consuming 200 grams of raw tomatoes every day had a favorable effect on the blood pressure levels in type 2 diabetes patients, 35. The lycopene in tomatoes, along with other compounds, was also found to have a positive effect on the oxidative stress in diabetes patients, 36. 11. Tomatoes may prevent urinary stone formation. According to another Turkey study, fresh tomato juice might help in preventing urinary stone formation, 37. 12. Tomatoes help prevent gallstones. As per a report by the Michigan State University, consuming tomatoes can reduce the risk of gallstones as well as kidney stones, 38. A few ways to incorporate tomatoes into your diet for preventing gallstones could be adding the canned or stewed versions to your soups and stews. You can also make fresh salsa and add tomatoes as a topping on salads, meat, or eggs. 13. Tomatoes strengthen bones. Having just 2 glasses of tomato juice a day can strengthen your bones and prevent osteoporosis. However, the study that came up with the result was not done on a large scale, which is why further research is required in this area. Nonetheless, the possibilities are promising. As already discussed, tomatoes are rich in beta-carotene. This nutrient, when ingested, turns into vitamin A, the vitamin that is essential for bone growth and maintenance, 39. The vitamin C in tomatoes is also crucial for bone formation and the synthesis of connective tissue. A deficiency of vitamin C can lead to underdeveloped bones. The vitamin has been linked to reduced bone loss in postmenopausal women as well. 40. Even the lutein in tomatoes promotes collagen formation, which helps boost bone health. Tomatoes are also rich in vitamin K, which, along with vitamin D, plays a pivotal role in bone metabolism. It also increases bone mineral density, thereby reducing the likelihood of fractures. 14. Tomatoes enhance your immune system. In one study, a tomato-rich diet had enhanced the functioning of the white blood cells in test subjects. The white blood cells, which are known for fighting infections, sustain 38% less damage from free radicals. As per experts, the lycopene and its antioxidant ability in tomatoes might enhance this ability of the white blood cells. According to a German study, supplementing a low carotenoid diet with tomatoes might enhance immune function. 41. 15. Tomatoes reduce inflammation. Tomatoes also contain 3 other antioxidants called zeta-carotene, phytofluene A, and phytoene, which are found together in most brightly colored fruits and veggies. These antioxidants help fight inflammation and the associated diseases like cancer and arthritis. But there's a catch. Earlier, we had seen that cooking or processing tomatoes enhances lycopene bioavailability. At the same time, the process also destroys these other significant antioxidants. The best way to go about it is to consume cooked, processed and raw tomatoes on a regular basis, and not just stick to one form. Consuming tomato juice is equally beneficial in fighting inflammation. According to an Italian study, lycopene was found to exhibit anti-inflammatory behavior. 42. However, more research is warranted in this regard. A study published by the United States Department of Agriculture states that tomatoes, especially tomato powder, also contain polycopenoids and certain other bioactive components that are way more effective than lycopene in fighting inflammation. 43. Harvard Medical School ranks tomatoes as one of the best foods for combating inflammation, and a must-have in everyone's diet. 44. Cherry tomatoes can be a good addition too. A serving has just 27 calories. They are rich in flavonols that treat inflammation. You can simply roast whole cherry tomatoes with a few garlic cloves and crush them. Add the mixture to a whole wheat toast for a healthy and tasty snack. Besides lycopene, the vitamin C in tomatoes also helps fight inflammation. 45. 16. Tomatoes boost men's health. The lycopene in tomatoes was found to boost male fertility by as much as 70%. 46. The antioxidant can also reduce the number of abnormal sperms. And not just that, it also improves sperm movement and reduces the damage to it. As per a Boston study, weekly consumption of 2 to 4 servings of tomato sauce was found to reduce the risk of prostate cancer by 35% and advanced prostate cancer by 50%. 47. According to one study, men with the highest lycopene concentrations in their diets were found to have 59% lower risk of ischemic stroke, the most common type of stroke. 48. 17. Tomatoes enhance brain power. Your brain, given the high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, is particularly vulnerable to damage by free radicals. Tomatoes, being rich in lycopene and beta-carotene and other antioxidants, can help combat this. In fact, tomatoes, when taken with olive oil, can have better effects. This is because the carotenoids in tomatoes are dissolved in fat, olive oil, and are easily absorbed by the blood. The lycopene in tomatoes also helps prevent grave diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. 49. According to an article published by the Western Governors University, tomatoes aid cognitive function and concentration. 50. A quick tip: when in the season, go for fresh tomatoes to reap the benefits of lycopene and other essential nutrients. And when not in the season, which is when the tomatoes appear pale and are tasteless, go for lycopene supplements. 51. 18. Tomatoes promote liver health. The lycopene in tomatoes scavenges the DNA-damaging agents, thereby promoting liver health. Tomatoes also contain certain B-complex vitamins that sustain liver health. And here's a super fact for you: the liver is the only organ in the human body that is capable of natural regeneration. It can regenerate lost tissue, and as much as 25% of the organ can regenerate into a whole liver if minor damage occurs. 52. As we have seen, tomatoes protect the liver and help in liver detoxification. According to one study, increased intake of tomato has been linked to a lowered risk of liver cancer. 53. Tomato extract was also found to offer protection against liver inflammation caused by a high-fat diet. As per another Californian study, green tomato extracts containing tomatine, a toxic substance found in the stems and leaves of tomato plants, can inhibit the growth of liver cancer cells. 54. Also, green tomatoes, like their red counterparts, are rich in vitamin K and B complex vitamins that have similar benefits. Lycopene in tomato is also associated with preventing alcoholic liver disease. 55. Have you ever wondered if a tomato is a fruit or a vegetable? Botanists classify tomatoes as a fruit because they develop from the ovary of flowering plants and contain seeds. However, because tomatoes are prepared and served like vegetables, they're generally thought of as a vegetable from a culinary perspective. Either way, tomatoes are a delicious and nutritious food that makes a good addition to most healthy eating plans. The lycopene in tomatoes works synergistically with other antioxidant vitamins, like vitamins A, E, and C, to provide compounding benefits for heart health. Some studies demonstrate a relationship between the lycopene in tomatoes and a reduction in oxidized LDL and arterial plaque. 3. Tomatoes also contain potassium, which is well known to reduce blood pressure. AIDS eyesight tomatoes are an excellent source of vitamin A, and more specifically, the forms of vitamin A associated with eye health. Lutein and zeaxanthin are two forms of vitamin A that are known to accumulate in the retina and prevent age-related macular degeneration. 4. Consuming tomatoes as a part of dishes that include some fat, such as in a salad with olive oil, improves absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins which are crucial for good eyesight. Protects against sun damage. The phytonutrients in tomatoes are protective against some of the effects of UVB damage. 5. Although tomatoes alone aren't enough to prevent skin cancer, including tomatoes in your meal plan may improve your body's resilience to the dangers of certain types of sun rays. May reduce risk of diabetes complications. Tomatoes have been associated with anti-hyperglycemic effects in rodents, but not in humans. Nonetheless, tomatoes are still beneficial for people with diabetes. Tomatoes have been shown to reduce the oxidative stress that's caused by diabetes. 6. They also reduce inflammation, accelerated atherosclerosis, and tissue damage, all common complications of the disease. Allergies. If you have seasonal allergies to grass pollen, you may experience an oral allergy after eating tomatoes. 7. Symptoms may include itchy mouth, ears, or throat, or swelling of the lips, mouth, tongue, and throat. Talk to your doctor if you suspect you may be allergic to tomatoes. Adverse effects. Tomatoes are naturally acidic. If you suffer from acid reflux or heartburn, you may want to limit your intake of tomatoes and tomato products. 8. Varieties. There are hundreds of varieties of tomatoes. 9. Tomatoes are available in many shapes, from tiny spheres to large ovals, colors from green to red, yellow, and orange, and sizes from small grape tomatoes to large beefsteak tomatoes. The level of sweetness and acidity vary depending on the growing conditions and ripeness at harvest. Some tomatoes have few seeds, such as the plum, whereas others have many. In addition to fresh tomatoes, you can find canned tomatoes that are diced, crushed, or pureed, which often have additional ingredients like added sodium. There are also a variety of tomato products like tomato paste, which is concentrated, cooked tomatoes, tomato juice, which is sold on its own or as part of vegetable juice blends, and sun-dried tomatoes may be sold on their own or packed in oil. Many condiments use tomato as a base, such as catsup and salsa. When purchasing commercial tomato sauces, always read the label. Some brands of jarred sauce contain lots of added sugar and sodium. Making your own with fresh or canned tomatoes is a good way to avoid these added ingredients. When it's best, look for fresh tomatoes that are plump and firm with smooth, shiny skin. The color should be uniform. Avoid tomatoes with cuts, bruises, soft spots, or mold. Local tomatoes from the farmer's market are best during the summer season. 9. You can purchase canned and jarred tomatoes and tomato products at any time of the year. Had I known tomatoes are replete with such wonderful benefits, I would have made them my favorite since my childhood. Which is why organic tomatoes are better. Any given day. Why are organic tomatoes better? It's common sense, if you ask me. Natural tomatoes contain more antioxidants. The antioxidants, especially the polyphenols, are formed in the tomatoes as they ripen. As organic tomatoes take a longer time to ripen, unlike the ones pumped with chemicals for quicker ripening, they are likely to have higher levels of polyphenols. There was a study carried out by the research scientists from the University of Barcelona and the Institute of Health in Spain. The findings of the study stated that organic tomatoes had the upper hand. They had higher concentrations of flavonoids like phenolic and hydroxycinnamyl-quinic acids, flavonoids like naringenin, and flavonols like quercetin and rutin. Organic tomatoes were also found to have double the concentration of camphorol, another flavonoid with potent antioxidant properties. This difference between organic and conventionally grown tomatoes, as per experts, one of them being Stephen Kafka, a PhD in agronomy, could primarily depend on the way the two kinds of tomatoes are fertilized. 56. Conventionally grown tomatoes receive commercial fertilizer made of soluble inorganic nitrogen. Plants take up this nitrogen very quickly and ripen fast. But the organically grown tomatoes get their nitrogen naturally from manure. This organic material must first be broken down by the microbes in the soil, post which the nitrogen is released to the plants. It takes time. The plants might grow slower, but they have more time to generate secondary plant metabolites or, in simple terms, the real healthy stuff like flavonoids. Organic tomatoes also contain higher amounts of vitamin C, 57% higher than that in conventionally grown tomatoes. Yes, they could be smaller, but they pack a higher dose of healthy nutrients. The fact that they are not treated with chemicals encourages the production of nutrients within the fruit. More interestingly, organic tomatoes don't receive any pesticides to protect the fruit from pests. This forces the tomatoes to fend for themselves. Simply put, making life less easy for tomatoes, or any food, for that matter, can bring about improvements in quality. Okay. So now you know which type of tomatoes is better. But, how are you going to pick the right one? And what about storage? Selection and storage make good use of your nose while picking tomatoes in the market. Smell the blossom end of the tomatoes, not the stem. The best ones will have a rich aroma. Go for only those tomatoes that are round and feel heavy for their size. They must feel full. And have no bruises or blemishes. The skin of the tomatoes must be taut, not shriveled. Coming to storage, ensure you put fresh and ripe tomatoes in a cool and dark place. You need to place them stem side down, and use them within a few days. Refrigeration is not recommended, because it nullifies the flavor of the fruit. But if you must refrigerate, take it out an hour before using it. Talking about canned tomatoes, if they are unopened, they must be used with 6 months. If opened, you can store them in a covered glass container in the refrigerator for up to a week. The leftover tomato paste or sauce can be refrigerated for up to 2 months. How to incorporate tomatoes into your diet? Let's keep this simple and crisp. Because that is how it is. Love omelets? Great. Add tomatoes to your next omelet. Top it with some spinach and mushrooms. Soup is always a great start to a meal. You can prepare a homemade soup with stewed tomatoes as the base. You can make your own tomato salsa. You can add cherry tomatoes to your salad and make it more healthful. If you love pasta dishes, replace all those creamy sauces with something made of tomatoes. Tomatoes are very low in calories, and are rich in fiber, folate, vitamin C, and other antioxidants and phytonutrients. However, do remember not to overeat tomatoes. Overeating of any food must be avoided. There are infinite ways to include tomatoes in your diet. And since they are low in carbs, even a large tomato only has about 5 grams of carbs, you can happily fit them into your diet the way you want. Tomato recipes. 1. Mediterranean tomato salad. What you need: 2 large tomatoes, ripe, and chopped into large pieces, 1 medium-sized red onion, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 10 fresh basil leaves, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. For taste directions: slice the onions and mince the garlic. After 5 minutes, toss all the ingredients together. Add salt and pepper for taste. 2. Fresh tomato salsa. What you need: 2 to 3 medium-sized tomatoes, fresh, with their stems removed, 1/2 red onion, 2 serrano chilies, juice of 1 lime, 1/2 cup of chopped cilantro, salt and pepper. For taste: a pinch each of dried oregano and ground cumin. For taste directions: firstly, chop the tomatoes, onions, and chilies. Ensure you avoid touching the cut peppers with bare hands. You can use disposable gloves for this purpose. Set aside a few of the seeds from the peppers. In case your salsa doesn't turn out to be as hot as you want, you can add them. In a food processor, place all of the ingredients. Pulse until you finely dice the ingredients. In case you don't have a food processor, you can dice them by hand. Place in a serving bowl. You can add salt and pepper for taste. If the chilies make the salsa too spicy, add some more of the chopped tomato. And if it's not spicy enough, you can go ahead and add some of the seeds you had set aside initially. Add the dried oregano and ground cumin for taste. 3. Tomato basil soup. What you need: 4 cups of chopped tomatoes, seeded and peeled, 4 cups of tomato juice, low sodium, 1 cup of 1% low-fat milk, 1/3 cup of fresh basil leaves, 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup of softened cream cheese, 8 slices of diagonally cut French bread. Directions: in a large saucepan, bring the tomatoes and the juice to a boil. Simmer uncovered for about 30 minutes. In a food processor, place the tomato mixture and basil. Return the pureed mixture to the pan. Stir in the milk, salt, and pepper. As you stir, add cream cheese and cook over medium heat until it turns thick. Ladle the soup into separate bowls. Serve with the French bread. You can refrigerate the remaining soup, but ensure you consume it within a week. That's about the good stuff about tomatoes. But there is some not so good stuff too. Which is as important. Tomato side effects: tomato leaf poisoning. Tomato leaves are unsafe. In large quantities, they are known to cause poisoning. Some research suggests that all the parts of the plant, except the tomato, could lead to digestive upset. 57. As per anecdotal evidence, other symptoms of tomato leaf poisoning include severe irritation of the throat and mouth, dizziness, headache and, in severe cases, death. Acid reflux. Tomatoes are naturally acidic. Consuming too many of them can cause acid reflux. If you constantly experience heartburn, which could be more than twice a week for a number of weeks, you must consult your doctor. Tomato intolerance. Intolerance to tomatoes can cause stomach pain and gas. The symptoms, however, might vary from individual to individual. Constipation. Tomatoes have a high fructose content, and this causes issues in people suffering from fructose malabsorption. It can lead to constipation. Tomatoes, the soup, especially, also contain salicylates, glutamates, and amines, all of which are natural food chemicals that might trigger constipation. Considerations with sodium. Canned tomatoes can be high in sodium. 1 cup of canned tomatoes contains 564 mg of sodium, while 1 cup of fresh tomatoes contains only 9 mg. Though canned tomatoes are as beneficial as the fresh ones, do take note of the sodium content. This information is solely for informational purposes. It is not intended to provide medical advice. The publication of this information does not constitute the practice of medicine, and this information does not replace the advice of your physician or other health care provider. Before undertaking any course of treatment, the reader must seek the advice of their physician or other health care provider. Health is wealth.